Hello, Whitefish Bay Middle School. I hope this finds you well. It is currently the end of day 2 of our new school year, and I'm happy to report that things are going pretty well. Day 2 was certainly better than day 1. As many of you know, I saw a lot of you in the help room online for those of you that were at home, and I saw a lot less kids on day 2 than I did on day 1, which means we kind of figured some things out. I think at home, figuring out the technology. At school, your teachers were figuring out the technology. So that's awesome, and that's what I would expect here for the first couple weeks. So we're going to gradually get a little bit better at this new style of learning. That we're going to figure things out that we didn't know before. We're going to come together as a community, and that every day is going to be a little bit better than the day before. So I'm really hopeful about the direction that we're headed, and appreciative of the patience that you've all demonstrated as we figured this out together. One of our Lion Pride virtues is perseverance, and we've all demonstrated that in these first couple of days, and I wouldn't expect anything less from our kids or our staff, so I'm really, really proud of you in these first couple of days. A few things that we learned that I just wanted to share. For those of you that were in person, I really appreciated your attention to safety. We talked about the 3 W's, and I saw all of those in effect in these opening days. It's a lot of hand washing. Everybody was in a mask and was really attentive to making sure that that thing was on and placed appropriately. And we did a good job of watching our distance. So that's really fantastic. So thanks for doing that. One thing that I think we could all work on for in person, and we want to communicate more clearly about this with you when you leave for lunch, is just making sure you come back to lunch on time. So if the schedule says your lunch ends, for example, at like 7th grade, I believe says 1:30, really you should be coming back to school at 1:20. We're really setting aside 10 minutes to transition back into the building for hand washing, getting settled in, using the bathroom, so we can start right away when the next class begins. So we're going to do a better job of communicating that with you when you leave, but just making sure you're coming back on time. And so it's not like you're trying to just sit down and get started right away in class, that you have we want to have a little buffer of time there to get everybody back and settled. At home, I've really appreciated the attention to Zoom etiquette. I know that that's different being in a space where you're virtual, but we've done a really good job of being appropriate, of listening, of muting our mic when we're not speaking. Some of you are using video because you're comfortable. That's awesome. Some of you are not, and that's okay too. One of the things I think we could work on when we're at home would be making sure that we are in our classes at the start of that time, so that we're getting into the Zoom meeting right away. I would suggest if your class starts, for example, at 8:05, maybe you want to try to get into the Zoom meeting, 2 or 3 minutes beforehand. And sometimes that means the teacher hasn't started it yet, and that's okay, but so you can kind of wait in the waiting room. But it's really important that we have everybody there so we can start class on time in those Zoom sessions. So those are a couple things I think we can work on for next week, and those are definitely achievable goals. So yes, before I leave, I just want to remind you that next week is also one of those wonky weeks where we don't have school on Monday. So that means that on Tuesday, we'll follow the Monday elective schedule. I know that was really confusing this week. We'll do that again next week, and then finally the week after is going to be a regular 5-day week. There will be no live help next week. So if you do have questions about how your schedule works or anything, make sure you ask me, you ask your teachers, you ask your counselors, so that you get your questions answered beforehand. Then, if I'm not available, you might want to be thinking about how you're going to get help if you need it. So make sure you know how to, that you've asked your teacher. I'm sure they probably told you by now. But if you need help, what's the best way? Should you be emailing them, sending them a Google chat? So make sure you know that before we get into next week. As always, pop into my live chat these next couple days if you need any additional help. That's all I've got for this week. Have a great long weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.